And so recently, you talked about having a lot of different passions right now in veterinary medicine. And I think one of them, as of this summer, you became the director of public relations for the Latinx Veterinary Medical Association. So can you speak to this organization? Like, what are their goals and what has this meant for you?
Yeah, it's very interesting. So the reason why this came about was because in my first job, I saw a lot of Spanish speaking clients, which was kind of shocking for me because I didn't realize how big of a Hispanic population there was in that area that I was in. I'm fluent in Spanish, but I don't know like medical terminology very well in Spanish because I don't really use that in regular conversation. So I kind of had to teach myself those things. And I would call my mom and be like, hey, how do you say this? And she's like, I don't know. So it took some time for me to, look up those medical terminology. And then I saw a post one day and I was scrolling through Instagram about how in 2016, of all the pet owners in the United States, it was something like 62% of those owners were Hispanic. And then there's only about 5% of vets in the United States that are actually Hispanic too. And I was like, I knew this was a thing where, Hispanic vets were lacking in our field, but I didn't realize it was like that.
Mhm.
And so that like shocked me. And I really was like, what can I do to like bring awareness to this? Or how can I really help in this area of diversity, really, as being a minority in this aspect? And so I saw that LVMA was a thing. And St. George's didn't have a student chapter at the time. So that's a reason why I didn't, really know about it, I guess, in school. The whole reason why this medical association was created was essentially, the lack of Latinx representation in the profession and kind of having that absence of a role model or someone that looks like us while we were going through vet school or just our journey in general in this field. And so it kind of brings us all together. And it's like always very empowering for me to sit in a meeting and be like, wow, there's a lot of us. Like, this is so cool. Like, a lot of it is also that we observe how language and cultural barriers have impacted client education. And I definitely realized that in my first year. And so our goals are really to increase the visibility of how we want to grow as being Latinx and being in this field that lacks so much representation. We want to be able to say, hey, if you're a Latinx student in vet med or you want to be a veterinarian, we are here for you and we want to be role models and we want to help you in whatever way that we can. And we just want to encourage that and embrace and promote that there are, Latinx veterinarians. And sort of my job as the public relations director is really to kind of be the voice of the medical association. So whether that's through releasing press releases, facilitating like conference presence, so VMX and AVMA and things like that. And the coolest thing is definitely collaborating with the other affinity groups in our profession, which there are so many that I just did not know about. And so that's also like, it's just so cool to see that there is a lot of diversity in our field and it's growing. It's very encouraging. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just coming back from the Veterinary Innovation Summit, they gave a lot of statistics around the ethnicities of pet owners. I've heard multiple times how wonderful it is to walk into a doctor's office, whether it's veterinary or other medical doctor, and see someone that you identify with, that you feel comfortable with, that gets you in all your situation. I also have a very good friend who is from Puerto Rico. She's an internal medicine specialist,
Nice.
and she has also said that she didn't have a mentor or anyone to look up to that looked like her or Puerto Rican in her field. And she still doesn't, is what she says. And so I like that we are trying to change that. We're coming together, and I the word that keeps coming to my mind is unity.
Yeah.
Not only like the Latinx, but as you said, it's fun seeing other groups as well, other diversity groups that are coming together. And in a way, it is creating more unity within the profession. So I love that.
Yeah. And, it's definitely evolving too. I mean, now we have DEI type leaders within the AVMA. I know we recently
Hmm.
hired someone for that, and then also within schools too, which is so cool and so important to have, allyship and just familiar faces in your community.